Well, I want to welcome everyone this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This really is a joyous occasion, and it's one that happens every 2 years here at the City of Salem. So we get a chance to bring the community together and celebrate democracy in action. And that's really why we're here tonight, is to celebrate the election of new city councilors and to rejoice, really, at the way this community comes together in campaigns and then comes together to get the work done. I'm Anna Peterson, the mayor. I'm very happy to welcome all of you here this evening. We're going to begin with the oath of office, first for our municipal court judge, Jane Aiken, and our city attorney, Dan Atchison, is going to be administering the oath of office, and following that, our 4 new councilors will receive the oath of office, each individually. And then following that, my husband, Edwin Peterson, Supreme Court Chief Justice retired, will be swearing me in. So that's the order, and then we'll have our meeting. Thank you. Mr. Atchison, you ready?
Right down here. If you'd repeat after me. I, Jane Aiken,
I, Jane Aiken,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America
and laws of the United States of America
and of the State of Oregon
and of the State of Oregon
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
perform the duties of municipal judge for Salem
perform the duties of municipal judge for Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein. Thank you. Go Ducks.
Mr. Anderson? Tommy, if you repeat after me. I, Tom Anderson,
I, Tom Anderson,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America
and laws of the United States of America
and of the State of Oregon
and of the State of Oregon
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and ordinance of the City of Salem,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
Congratulations. Please repeat after me. I, Steve McCoy,
I, Steve McCoy,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America
and laws of the United States of America
and of the State of Oregon
and of the State of Oregon
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
Congratulations. Please repeat after me. I, Daniel Benjamin,
I, Daniel Benjamin,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America
and the laws of the United States of America
and of the State of Oregon
and of the State of Oregon
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and the ordinances of the City of Salem,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
perform the duties of City Councilor for the City of Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein. Thank you.
Congratulations. Mr. Lewis, please repeat after me. I, Jim Lewis,
I, Jim Lewis,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America
and laws of the United States of America
and of the State of Oregon
and of the State of Oregon
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and ordinances of the City of Salem,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
perform the duties of City Councilor for Salem
perform the duties of City Councilor of Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
Congratulations.
I'll stand on this. Is that the easiest thing for you?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Anna Peterson,
I, Anna Peterson,
being duly sworn,
being duly sworn,
swear that I will support the Constitution, swear that I will support the Constitution and laws
swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of
of the United States of
the
America
United States of America,
and of the State of Oregon
the State of Oregon,
and the City Charter
and the City Charter
and ordinances
and ordinance
of the City of Salem,
of the City of Salem,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and lawfully,
faithfully and lawfully,
discharge the duties of Mayor of Salem
discharge the duties of Mayor of Salem
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
Congratulations.
The attorney didn't hug anyways.
All right. I would now like to call to order this special meeting of the Salem City Council for Monday, January 12th, 2015. And I would like our recorder to please call the roll.
Counselor Bennett?
Here.
Counselor Anderson?
Present.
Counselor Nanki?
Here.
Counselor McCoy?
Here.
Counselor Dickey? Here. Counselor Benjamin?
Here.
Counselor Benards?
Here.
Counselor Lewis?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here. Thank you very much. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next process is to elect our council president. And I would look for a motion from the floor for council president. Councilor Bennett.
Madam Mayor, I nominate Councilor Brad Nanke.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Bennett and seconded by Councilor Bednarz, thank you, to nominate Councilor Brad Nanke as council president. All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations. And to be back again. You've done this in the past, not when I was mayor, but in the past.
Years.
It's been a while. Well, I'm happy to have you do this. And I very, very, very much want to say how tremendously important Councilor Bennett's service as council president has been, not just to me and not just to the council, but to the city. He has always been the most attentive and the most directed aide I could ever have had. And I don't mean aide as in a subordinate. He really rises above me. And that's why for 4 years I asked him to continue as our council president.
Thank you.
Chuck, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much,
Thank
Mayor.
you. However, he knows that I also have given him a very long list of some special projects This year, we're going to undertake some special activities and special direction, and I'm looking to Councilor Bennett to really shepherd some very exciting and very important projects coming up. All right, so now we need a motion from our new council president on the approval of additions and deletions to the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would move additions, deletions, and revisions to the agenda for January 12, 2015.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Council President Brad Nanke and seconded by Councilor Benars. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We now have a time for council comment and city manager comment, and this evening we're changing that slightly because I would like our 4 new councilors to each be able to introduce their families and to address the audience and the public that are watching on television, and about some of their hopes and goals and plans for their next 4 years. So I'm going to start that process with Councilor from Ward 2, Tom Anderson, and then we'll go 2, 4, 6, and 8. Councilor Anderson.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd first like to make some introductions, and the first introductions I want to make are my own personal flock of ducks. My wife, Jessica Maxwell, I'd ask if she could stand, please, who is a graduate in journalism from University of Oregon and is a magazine travel writer as well as an author of 5 books with her 6th on the way. My son, Benjamin Anderson, who is a double duck, graduate of both undergrad and law school, and he's a lawyer in Portland and is the parent of the 2 cutest granddaughters in the world. And my son, Eli, who is also a graduate of University of Oregon and is in his 2nd year of medical school at the National College of Natural Medicine in Portland. Thank you. I'd also like to introduce 3 of my prime supporters who are here today, and that would be Tyler Malmstrom, who was my campaign manager, Marin Rin, who was my administrative assistant, and Tina Kalos, who was the campaign strategist, and I thank them for all their help. There are also other people here who I would like to thank who were very supportive of me and, in fact, inspirational to me in my run for council. A lot of them were here, and a lot of them, I think, have left because they're also ducks. But I would like all those who are here this evening who supported my campaign in any way to also stand and be recognized. The word that comes to mind when I take my term on the council is inspiration or inspired. I think I've been inspired by my family, including my parents, both of whom have died in the past 2 years. I think a year ago, I never would have expected about this time, I never would have expected to be running for council, and I was approached by a group of Salemites who asked me to run, and I said no. And they came back, and I said maybe, and they came back a 3rd time, and I said yes. And those people I've called the Gang of 13, who have inspired me to run, and then who those and other people met weekly at my house to plan the campaign and discuss strategy. So I was inspired by those citizens of Salem. I've been inspired by SCAN, the neighborhood group, which I was the president of and served other terms in office for nearly 8 years. And I've also been inspired by the other neighborhood groups who are working to improve their neighborhood and their city. I've been inspired by the people in over 700, maybe as many 800 homes that I visited in my campaign and had discussions with them about this city and its future. I've been inspired by all the other people of Salem whom I have met on the streets, in their offices, in our stores and restaurants, who are vitally interested in Salem and its future. I've been inspired by the city staff that I have met with and dealt with this far. I'm also inspired by what Salem can become. And I'm inspired by all of this to work with the mayor, my fellow councilors, the city manager, to work hard in the next 4 years to help Salem achieve all that it can become, and make Salem a better place to live for all citizens and all people in Salem. Thank you very much.
Councilor McCoy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I didn't know my wife was such a big duck fan because she's already ducked out and is on her way back home. But I have here with me two of my daughters, my twin daughters, my oldest, Kristen and Kimberly, and my granddaughter, Ada. And I've got a daughter living in Hong Kong and another one that's still at work, I suspect. But thank you for coming, and my wife was there. I would, you talk about inspiration and who got you into this, and he just left too, and that would have been Representative Kevin Cameron approached me, and he's the one that recruited me to run for city council, and we've been good friends for years. He was chair of the Oregon Restaurant Association when I first got to work there, is which I first met him. He's done a great job, and watching him and seeing how effective he was and how much he enjoyed it was an inspiration for me and one of the reasons I did run. So I thank Kevin for that. Greg Astley, who's also been a friend of mine for 15 years and whose wife worked for me when they met, and they were both here and just left too. Greg was a former cheerleader for the Ducks, so he's a little more invested even the average guy, you know. Also was my campaign manager, and I just basically did what he told me to do, and here I am. So I thank him for that. And it sounds like I'm echoing Tom to some degree, but I am. I lost my mom a year ago in December, and she'd be proud. So I owe a lot to her. She imbued in all her kids, 6 kids, serving others is better than doing stuff for yourself. And so for that, I really, really thank her. And with that, got an emotional Irish guy here on the council now. As far as what I want to do, when I leave here, and I think it's already this way, but I want to make sure that Salem's recognized as the most livable city in the nation. I think it is now, but I want to make sure we do everything we can as a council and working with this wonderful city staff to make sure that the citizens get what they want and need to make that a livable city, whether that's a world-class library, whether that's a great infrastructure for roads and things that work well and the trains are running on time, and when you call for help, you get it, and when you call for assistance, you get it, and all the things that go into making a world-class city. I think we've got it. My goal is to make sure we maintain it and, if not, improve on it. And that's one thing I will say with the training we've got, working with the city staff. I'm so impressed with the professional staff that we get to work with, led by Linda and the great city manager, or the managers of the different departments. I've been so impressed not only with their professionalism, but they're really, you can see it's a desire to serve the citizens of this city as the best way they can. And we're very lucky to have the professional staff we do and the people that work with them. And I'm very much looking forward to working with you folks over the next 4 years. So with that, I'm grateful. I'm humbled to be representing the 20,000 citizens in Ward 4. It's a big deal, and thank you.
Councilor Benjamin.
Good evening, folks. Thanks for coming out this evening. I'd like to thank my family for being behind me in my campaign and ultimately my election. Laura, my lovely wife, and my lovely daughter, Isabella, and my favorite little boy, Lucas. I didn't have much time to plan a speech today. We decided to play instead. Yeah. In any event, being the chairman of the North Lancaster Neighborhood Association, it just kind of dipped my foot in to get involved with the workings of the city to help bring a park in my neighborhood, or to develop it more. And finding that there wasn't much going on with that park, and I felt that it would be a great addition to our neighborhood because we have a lot of kids in the area, and the community is somewhat fragmented, if you will. They just don't get together very often. I thought, well, this would be a good place to get people together and have kids hang out in a safe neighborhood in an area. And so I kind of put shoulder to plow. Well, I kind of learned that during the process that your vote does make a difference. You can vote, and then you can complain afterwards if it doesn't work out your way. But if you don't put shoulder to plow, then you can only complain for so long, at which point then you need to get active, which I did in regards to the park. And of course, being the chairman of the neighborhood association, we're able to affect a lot of community work together. People started to know who each other were. We had barbecues, bounce houses, and whatnot. Started making that neighborhood association a lot stronger. And that's very important that as city councilor with NOLA, ELNA, and NESCA, to be able to be a voice for them and to help them develop their communities the way they need to have them developed. I really enjoy this opportunity to serve the community. Never had much of a volunteer access before with the city or federal government or anything like that. And so I wanted to be a part of making Salem a great place to live and work. Thank you.
Councillor Lewis.
Okay, well, I got 2 minutes to kick off, so I'll go fast. You know, I need to start from the beginning, and that is from myself and my family, from the residents of Ward 8, all of West Salem, in fact, all of Salem, to thank Dan Clem for 12 years of sitting at this desk as a volunteer. I've been here 12 minutes, and it's become overwhelming already. I think that he volunteered 12 years of his life is something that is extremely commendable, and he deserves a great deal of credit. I want to thank a lot of the folks that that helped me. You know, I mentioned in my campaign that what drove me was, as a 13-year-old boy, listening to John Kennedy say that you know, we need to ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. And that stuck with me. Coming from Massachusetts, my parents were very political in nature, and that stuck. And so it was a driving force. When I came to Salem, Mike McLaren befriended me almost on the first day. Welcomed me, but then told me almost immediately what I could do. And for those of you that knew Mike, you know what I'm talking about. And so it was from the beginning that I got involved. And I met a lot of people, and they've been very supportive and pushing at the same time. And so I ended up on the Planning Commission, and now I'm here. It's very humbling and rewarding to have met so many people and been so supportive over such a short amount of time, 15 years. It in many ways is a long time, but in many ways just a heartbeat. So I want to thank all those folks that supported me, walked with me on those nice, warm Saturdays in March and April, both of them. I want to thank my family. I know my wife is still here because I drove. My son would be here, but he unfortunately is one of those people that had his automobile taken this morning. Went out to get in his car and it was gone, so he's dealing with that adventure in life. And my daughter is getting over the flu, and I know that both of these things are true, or they would be here, because I think they'd rather be here than those. You know, I'll say this about my wife, if I can. This came to me the other day. I'm very, very lucky, and the best way that I can put it, when God looks down on her every morning, he simply smiles and says, "No, that's what I'm talking about." So I'm very fortunate. Another reason why I have a responsibility to give back. I want to spend just a minute to talk about not a goal, but the word expectations. Everybody's got them. What do we do with them? I looked it up in the dictionary, and it says a belief that someone will or should do something. I've had some experience dealing with expectations, not being able to meet people's expectations. I'm a dad. I've been a manager, a boss. I've been on the planning commission for 11 years. It hurts disappointing people. But sometimes as a leader, that's what you're left with. For me, music helps soothe the pain. It's funny, but on the way over here tonight, I was listening to one of the songs by one of my mentors, Jimmy Buffett. Many of you don't know, but Jimmy Buffett's more than just the margarita guy. In fact, he's a prolific writer. He's the only writer to have a #1 bestseller on the New York bestseller list from a fiction and nonfiction at the same time. Anyway, he has a song called Oldest Surfer on the Beach. Even the margarita guy is getting older. And there's a line in it that says, I stopped searching for perfection many waves ago. And I think that's something important for all of us to know, that if there's anything about human beings that I've learned over my 64 years, anything that is guaranteed in all of us, it's imperfection. So if we take that to heart, it can help us make decisions. So in an odd way, I'm looking forward to the imperfection that I'll produce over the next 4 years. Thank you.
Well, it truly is an honor for me to sit in this mayor's chair and to have sat in this mayor's chair for 4 years and learned more every day because of the counselors and the staff and the community that has welcomed me and embraced me and supported me, and this time around re-elected me, so I have more time ahead. I couldn't help but think back about what I stood for when I first ran, and one of my slogans was jobs. In fact, Councilor Bennett brought me a handful of buttons that said JOBS. Someone was giving them away at the Capitol, and I had already started using the phrase about jobs, but he saw the buttons, and then it really took off. Jobs. Join our business sector. And I came in here and I said to staff, we're going to join our business sector. I want staff thinking that way. I want this city to open the doors and to be receptive to customers when they come in. I want customer service to be #1. Well, when I was here for a little while, I realized we were already doing that. So that's why everybody was looking at me like, oh, new kid on the block with a great idea that we were already doing anyway. And you were doing it, and you've been doing it even better ever since. It's been a great 4 years in terms of economic development, job growth, property value growth. We've had a good run in 4 years, and I'm very proud of our community for that. I like phrases and I like catchy things, and one of them that I came up with is that we are the collaboration capital, and I'm so proud of that. We collaborate here better than anywhere else, whether it's the city with the state, the nonprofits with the business profit for the for-profit businesses, the faith community and the neighborhood associations. We roll up our sleeves, we get together, and we work on solving problems and meeting expectations and seizing opportunities. And I see it again and again. And I'm going to continue encouraging this community to be known for that, because it does make life different here. We are different here because of that. Seeking consensus has been a theme that this council, previous council, shared. And for 4 years, it was a mantra that we held. A consensus-seeking council is not a council that does what one person wants. And those who were on the council for 4 years can tell you that it wasn't that way. It's just that we so often worked hard to come to consensus so that everyone had a voice in the decision, rather than 5 people having it their way and 4 people sitting on the sidelines. I hope that as we go forward, that we can continue to be a consensus-seeking council, but always remembering it, that those other voices need to be heard, need to be acknowledged, need to be woven into the fabric of the rules and the ordinances and the policies that we come forward with. I continue to say that we're an international city, and I'm so proud of that. I saw that when I first went door to door, and people who opened their doors were from Italy, from India, from Japan, from England, from Bolivia, from all over the world. And I've learned that even more so, and we've been able to establish the Mayor's International Council. I'm particularly very pleased this evening Dr. John Chapala is here, and he is a leader on our International Council, and in fact was a person who pointed out to me that up on that wall there is a plaque that indicates our Salem sister city relationship in India, which had gone by the wayside. And we're dedicated to renewing that. I was on vacation in India. He was with his family, and we met in Salem, India, and were able to, I think, begin recatalyzing that dream. So being an international city, being at the collaboration capital, having a strong sense of economic development, we know that we can build a stronger community by pulling together and working together. And I just want to say what an honor it is for me to be able to be the mayor in this community. And I want to say to my husband, who supports everything I do, and used to say has endured more Amy's Frozen Pizzas than anyone on earth should have had to. But I do want to acknowledge his help and support, and the help and the support of our city manager and the staff. I know it's going to be more great years ahead. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right, we have a couple of proclamations. I'm sorry that I'm having to do all the talking right now, but we do have two proclamations, and each is very important. I'm going to stand and I'm going to read the first one, and it is unusual in that there's no one standing beside me to receive this proclamation. Because of the unusual nature of this proclamation. However, a copy of this proclamation has been framed and has been sent overnight mail to Japan, where it will be displayed at the funeral of the person whom we're going to be recognizing and acknowledging in this proclamation. Whereas the city of Salem, by this proclamation, conveys its condolence to the family of Koji Funabashi and to the citizens of Kaugoi upon the death of their mayor, their former mayor. We wish also to commemorate and honor his many accomplishments and the years of exemplary service to his city and to the prefecture of Sayamnata in Japan. Whereas Kochichi Funabashi served as the mayor of Kaugoi from 1993 to 2009, providing leadership during a period of growth and renewal. Among many goals and accomplishments, he worked to further develop and enhance Kaugoi City as a cultural and historical center for Japan. Kaugoi City now welcomes even more visitors from Japan and across the world to enjoy its many significant historical sites and cultural activities. He continued to build and strengthen Kaugoi's international relations through the Sister City program and encouraged his citizens to become citizens of the world. And whereas we believe one of the most important legacies he leaves to all of us is a core group of young people who have benefited from participation in international experiences through Sister City and Sister School student exchange programs. Awakening curiosity about the world at an early age and helping to increase understanding of cultural differences and similarities is critical to the creation and maintenance of world peace. And whereas, may it be a comfort to you as it is to us to know that the many friends of Koshi Funabashi has made in Salem will continue his legacy. We value our many friendships in Kaugoi and will continue to make new friends and work together to develop and strengthen the bonds and friendship between our two cities. Now therefore, I, Mayor Anna Peterson, hereby proclaim January 15th, 2015 as the day of mourning the passing and honoring the life of Koshi Funabashi, former mayor and honorary citizen of the city of Kagoe, Japan. Thank you. The other proclamation that I have to read today is actually going to be presented at the upcoming meeting of the Mayor's International Council, but it's my pleasure tonight to read a proclamation for Martin Luther King Day. Whereas January 19th, 2015 is celebrated nationally and by the city of Salem as the observance of the birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is recognized as a leader in the movement to establish civil and human rights for all people, and whereas Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. focused on building peaceful communities based upon equality and justice, and whereas the city of Salem has reaffirmed the personal liberties of its citizens and does not tolerate any violation of their civil and human rights. And whereas we joined the world in observing the 50th anniversary of the pivotal speech, I Have a Dream, on August 28, 2013. Whereas the celebration of the life of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. helps honor those who contributed to Salem's diverse history and culture. And whereas the recognition and study of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and work helps assure a rich and diverse community for future. Now therefore, I, Anna M. Peterson, Mayor of the City of Salem, do hereby proclaim the day of January 19th, 2015 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Recognition in Salem, in honor and celebration of the contributions of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I urge all residents to reflect and learn about his work so that the community of Salem will continue to uphold and respect the civil and human rights of every individual. Thank you very much. All right, we will now proceed to public comment. If we have anyone here who has signed up for public comment, and we do. Mr. Easterly, will you please approach the microphone, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. E.M. Easterly, 775 Fir Gardens Northwest. I was sort of at a loss to find a way to be at the audience today, but I'd like to thank each of the 4 new members of the council. But I want to take a point off of what you, Mayor Peterson, talked about, and specifically what Councilor Lewis talked about. 12 years ago, a new member of this then council, Dan Clem, came before this body to represent West Salem. I happen to be a West Salem resident. At that point, he talked about something. It was creating a bridge across the Willamette River.
Oh, yes.
We're still waiting for that bridge to come into fruition, but I'd like for all of us to think about something rather important. He didn't get the bridge that he thought he was going to get across, but we have 2 new bridges. One that's actually we cross the old railroad pedestrian right-of-way, the emergency access between West Salem and East Salem. I think I'll put it that way. And then we have one that was going to go in last summer, but will go in this summer, from our wonderful park downtown to link the park in Minto Brown all the way over to Wallace Marine side. Those are 2 things that happened in terms of bridges and the conviction and efforts and commitment of one of West Salem's citizens that, as Mr. Lewis pointed out, created a great example of what everyone could and might do on behalf of their community and the particular parts of their community. I thank you very much. I hope all of you remember that. And it's under somewhere in the back of my mind, there's going to be a specific celebration in honoring of the 4 folks
There is.
who have just left the council. Thank you very much.
There is. Thank you very much. Yes, we're having a special event at the Salem Convention Center, and I think the date is January 26th. January 26th. All right. 29th. All right. We'll get that date straight. All right. We will be there. Thank you very much. All right. We're now moving on to the consent calendar. Councilor Nanke, do you have a motion?
Oh, I do. I've been working on it all day.
I'm glad you have.
I would move the consent calendar with the following poll, 3.2C by Councilor Anderson.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Nanke and seconded by Councilor Bednarz to approve the consent calendar with the one item of 3.2C polled by Councilor Anderson. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. We have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move to a special order of business, which actually will be that item. Councilor Anderson, do you want to make a motion regarding item 3.2C?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of item 3.2C.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor Anderson and seconded by Councilor Bednarz. Is that correct? All right. If I don't look up, sometimes I'm not sure which deep voice I'm hearing over there. Councilor Bednarz seconded that motion. Thank you. Is there a discussion?
Yes, there is.
Thank you.
I will tell you that I looked at this over the weekend and pulled it up on my computer, and all it showed was some little hatches going on Mission Street and Cross Street. So I have spoken today with the city attorney and got some background, and I'm really interested if Mr. Atchison could discuss the legal background of that, and then if Director Fernandez could talk a little bit about what it actually is on the ground.
Dan Atchison, City Attorney. Essentially, the resolution just dedicates property as public right-of-way. The property has already been deeded to the city, so the city owns that property, and we're just asking council to make it public right-of-way. The property in question is along Mission and Church Streets, abutting the Salem Health property in that area. That's the legal element of it.
Yeah, Peter Fernandez, Public Works Director. Anytime that, just a little more background, anytime any development comes through in Salem, when there is, when the right-of-way isn't, the street abutting the property isn't to the full width of the right-of-way for that street. In the case of Mission Street, it's a minor arterial, so that requires a 72-foot right-of-way. The property owner is asked to dedicate their portion of the right-of-way. So in this case, the right-of-way was short 11 feet. A minor arterial requires 72 feet of right-of-way. We only had about 61 feet there. There was no more that could be dedicated from the park property, so the hospital was asked to dedicate the additional 11 feet as a condition of developing the property. So it comes as a condition of development. The crux of your question, Councilor, is what are we going to do with it? Well, there are no plans to do anything with the right-of-way for now, other than we now have the full right-of-way for what is a minor arterial street. What goes on in right-of-way? Water lines, sewer lines, franchise utilities, street trees, street lights. So any of those things would now be possible to do within the public right-of-way, but there are no immediate plans to do anything other than to now have the full width for a minor arterial street.
Thank you, Director Fernandez. I have a couple other questions. I understand all that. My question relates to both of the one on Church Street and the one on Mission Street. How was that affected by the recent LUBA decision, if at all? And I suspect it's not, because they already gave it to us, so if nothing else happens, that's too bad. We've got it.
That's right.
Secondly, the part of the Church Street, I know part of the what the hospital has proposed would include a greenway from Bush's Pasture Park to Pringle Park, which would then connect the speaker earlier talking about the bridges across the Willamette and across the slough. It would connect Pringle Park all the way to those parks as well. And Is there anything other than the hospital's plans, as in the matter was before Luba, that indicates that that part will be dedicated to the Greenway, or is that merely expansion of the right-of-way because that's what is required under the code?
Right, so on Church Street, so I gave you the background on Mission Street. Church Street, actually, there were no right-of-way dedication requirements with respect to the size of the right-of-way. That street is already its full width. When the hospital vacated a number of rights-of-way that were inside of the property, one of the conditions of those rights-of-way vacations was to dedicate an additional 5 feet along Church Street to then be able to enhance that proposed greenway between Mission Street and Pringle, and the entrance to Pringle Park. So that dedication, as you've said, we now have the fee, the dedication is final. When the hospital develops the property, an additional condition is then that they plant trees and widen the sidewalk and those things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. The motion on the floor has been made by Councilor Anderson and seconded by Councilor Benars. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay. We have no unfinished business. There are a couple of information reports in the agenda packet, and it's now time for the second reading of 2 ordinances. Would the recorder please take the vote on those?
Ordinance Bill Number 28-14 relating to naming an unnamed street in West Salem as Oakview Lane Northwest. Councilor Bennett?
Aye.
Councilor McCoy?
Aye.
Councilor Benards?
Aye.
Councilor Benjamin?
Aye.
Councilor Dickey?
Aye.
Councilor Lewis?
Aye.
Councilor Nanke?
Aye.
Councilor Anderson?
Aye.
Mayor Peterson?
Aye. Thank you. And the second ordinance, Bill Number 2914.
Ordinance Bill 2914, amending the Salem Revised Code regulations related to mobile food units. Councilor McCoy?
Aye.
Councilor Benards?
Aye.
Councilor Benjamin?
Aye.
Councilor Dickey?
Aye.
Councilor Lewis?
Aye.
Councilor Nanke?
Aye.
Councilor Anderson?
Aye.
Councilor Bennett?
Aye.
Mayor Peterson?
Aye. Thank you. All right, do we have anyone signed up for public comment? All right, we'll move to new business, which is the mayor's item, the 2015 City Council representation on committees, subcommittees, and other regional agencies. And you'll find that report in the packet of additions to the agenda. And you'll see from reading this report, it is as the result of both individual meetings that I held with city councilors and then a joint meeting that several of us had so that we could discuss council representation on a variety of committees and commissions, some of which are for the city of Salem and some of which are regional committees or commissions where we are able to hold a seat as representing the city of Salem. And so without reading through the list, I simply enter that as a document that becomes our part of our city record. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer questions, or if there are any comments regarding city council assignments, I think probably right now is the time to receive those. Any comments or suggestions? Questions? All right. I want to say thank you to all of the counselors who so willingly said to me that they would do whatever we needed to do, and everyone's spirit was to pull together and serve on these committees. I know it's extra time and extra attention, but believe me, that is really the way we move so much of our work forward. So I thank you all for your willing participation on those committees. All right, we have no other business to come before the City Council, and this meeting of the City Council is adjourned. And we will now have Councilor Nanke at the podium and he will conduct the Housing Authority meeting.
Should we announce that publicly? Unless someone's TiVoing the game, we won't give away any secrets. With that, I will call to order this meeting of the Salem Housing Authority for January 12th, 2015. If the clerk can call the roll.
Commissioner Anderson?
Present.
Commissioner Ninky?
Here.
Commissioner McCoy?
Here.
Commissioner Dickey?
Here.
Commissioner Benjamin?
Here.
Commissioner Bernards?
Here.
Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
Commissioner Hein? And Commissioner Bennett?
Here.
Thank you. And for those new counselors or new Housing Authority members, the council president chairs the Housing Authority. I think next month we'll vote on a vice chair. In the absence of said, I think I'll use Councilor Bennett for this evening just to move things along because people are edgy to get in front of the game. Do we have any public comment? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Bennett, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bennett, second by Commissioner Bednarz. Mr. Wilch, any comments? There was a really nice lead off to the program management report this evening.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I have no comments. Happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. We had 200 of the Housing Authority members, children's actually shop with a cop this year. So I'd like to thank everyone who donated to that program to bring presents to some children who might otherwise have gone without this season. Motion on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Seeing no other business on the agenda, we will adjourn and recommence as the Urban Renewal Agency forthwith. Almost. Yeah. All we got is minutes for Urban Renewal, I think.
All right, I will call to order this meeting of the Urban Renewal Agency for the City of Salem for January 12, 2015. Would the recorder please call the roll?
Board Member Bennett?
Here.
Board Member Anderson?
Here.
Board Member Ninky?
Here.
Board Member McCoy?
Here.
Board Member Dickey?
Here.
Board Member Benjamin?
Here.
Board Member Bernards?
Here.
Board Member Lewis?
Here.
Chair Peterson?
Here. Thank you. We have no reports from boards or commissions or committees this evening. In fact, I think we have, do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Okay. We have a consent calendar, and would our council president, Brad Nanke, please introduce the consent calendar?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would move the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Nanke and seconded by Councilor Bernards. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. We have no information reports or special orders of business. In fact, no other business to come before the Urban Renewal Agency, and we are adjourned.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. All right.